All right, guys, it's time for RGH 25. We are going to get started now. Unfortunately, we don't understand why we cannot turn off members only mode. It just won't turn off. I'm clicking it over and over again, and it just keeps re-enabling. It's not my fault. This is the only tech issue that it's not actually my fault.
Always something.
It's saying,
sorry, y'all.
It's saying only channel members may send messages. We click it off. I'm clicking save. It says settings have been saved, and it turns right back on. Same with slow mode. I cannot turn it off, and I don't know why. So we're gonna have to just get in. I appreciate you guys being here. Anyways, we'll jump into the topics and hopefully have some fun still today. We apologize.
If you do have something you want to add comment-wise, just know that I read every comment on the past broadcast when they get uploaded onto YouTube. So if you have something you want to make sure that gets seen by us, feel free to just post a general comment on the YouTube upload itself. Yeah, we'll see it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm wondering, there's a little notification up here that says stream settings have been moved. Click the edit button. I wonder if there's just some like issues on the back end of YouTube right now where they obviously haven't turned this feature on properly or something. I don't know, but we'll get into the content. Again, leave a comment down below if you guys have anything you wanted to add. If not, I don't know, maybe I can open up a Twitter feed or something like that.
Become a member.
Become a member, yeah.
Hey!
Maybe. So we're going to jump in with Destiny 2. They dropped a secret mission yesterday. There was no mention of it, right? It was kind of like the Whisper of the Worm where it just dropped and like, oh, by the way, there's a secret mission that opened up, right?
Yeah, well, It started out, people were like, hey, the new exotic gun is like in collections now. Like we can see it. Those were the first things that people were posting. Like, yo, ever since reset, I can see this gun in collections. And then people started doing the Nightfall, and that's how you get access to the first step. And then I was like, oh, bro, new quest. Right. And so I hopped out of PvP real quick. I was like, oh, shoot.
It doesn't have to be a Nightfall. You can just go into the normal strike. I think it just happened to be that's the Nightfall, right?
That's why I send people to your it has to be arms dealer.
So I think it was just happened to be like that's the Nightfall, probably done on purpose a little bit. Obviously, if that's in the rotation, you know what I mean. Like people, hey, wait, that doorway isn't usually open, and then it was crazy. And then it takes you to this derelict ship that has scorn everywhere, and you're like, oh,
it's like Dead Space vibe.
You're like exploring through. Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like Dead Space. There's all these like creepy sounds everywhere.
Yeah.
And
growling and
it's a little bit challenging. What they did is it's kind of smart. So they did because the thing is, if they put it too high a power level, people who aren't that power level complain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they did the same thing that went on in the Season of Arrivals quest, where like even if you're the highest power level, it's always like 10 above you. Like you still see the swords, even if you match the power level. So it's just a little bit more challenging than normal, right? Which makes sense. You're going in there to get a cracked exotic. It's fine if it's not the easiest thing ever, and but it's kind of that same level of challenge no matter who you are. So even if you're coming in technically under leveled, so that was an interesting thing. But yeah, people loved it.
Well, and rightfully so. I mean, it had its own mechanics. It had a unique sort of a feel to it. Like there's no time really in Destiny history where we've had a mission quite like that kind of elicited that same kind of response.
I would say it's most comparable to like Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak Perfected. Like if you're going to compare it to something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Which are both fantastic, right? Those are both like super fantastic pieces of content.
Right.
And you gotta wonder, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say you gotta wonder, like with this whole new aesthetic that they brought with these creepy plants and the sort of toxic vibes, like where are we going with that? I was kind of feeling like it almost reminded me of like Poison Ivy from Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever she takes over a place and these plants are just growing out of everywhere, kind of taking over the place. I got those kinds of vibes too. It's kind of cool.
But would you where would you rank it for the kind of the secret exotic missions? Like 1, 2, 3.
I think it's right below. I think it's Whisper of the Worm number 1, Outbreak Perfected number 2, probably like this, and then
Harbinger,
and then maybe Harbinger. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Like I feel like in the past we had some better ones. Bastion kind of comes in there.
Mhm.
I liked Outbreak. I put Outbreak at 1, this at 2, and then for me, Whisper is number 3. I didn't dislike Whisper, but I didn't like it as much as Outbreak.
Would you say it's because of like the environment? Like, did you just like the flow of the mission or the puzzles involved?
I love fighting Fallen. You know, I like fighting. Pardon?
Scoring?
No, I'm talking about why Outbreak is on top.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the tower, fighting the Fallen, and going through, kind of seeing more of the tower than we ever got to see in D1. You know, going back retroactive. I just like that vibe entirely.
Yeah. I'm thinking the rewards though, like the Whisper was cracked out of its mind, dude.
Mhm.
Like you were doing that mission for something. Like even this, like it's a cool exotic. It's getting definitely some play in PvP, but it's like one of those things where if I could pick an exotic, you know what I mean? Maybe I would have something akin to the Eyes of Tomorrow instead, just where it's a little bit more cracked.
Oh, so like it's a secret mission, and at the end of it is like an insane thing. So it's like the hype factor.
Yes. It's like you're getting a really insane gun. Not to crap on this gun. It is a very cool gun. It's very unique. Its own scout rifle archetype. But I just feel like, you know, I would have preferred like the absolute pinnacle weapons that are like super cracked. I think a good example is like the Xenophage. That doesn't. It kind of takes you into like a secret area and stuff. It's not a whole new mission. But like when you come out the other end and you got that Xenophage, you're like, oh my gosh, right? This thing slaps. Like Gambit All-Star, like can use it in the Crucible, slaps. It's not bad there. PvE All-Star. That's just, I'm not, I just think like those really iconic banger weapons. And not saying this necessarily isn't good, but I don't think it's at that level.
Well, it's almost like a game changer. Like when Whisper did come out, it was like the best weapon in the game. It was the best DPS weapon in the game. So everyone's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was like, and then
it was the new LFG must have.
Yeah, it was. And you could go back in. Remember, you could go back into that mission and get its catalyst and explore to get those different like materials and stuff like that. Which this mission too, we're not done with this mission. There is going to be some sort of heroic version or something because there is a catalyst associated with this. So you can't
sounds
get
nuts.
Yeah. So later on, we're going to go back in there. There's like a bunch of like kind of secret things in this mission. There's a bunch of like data pads that you can't really interact with most of them and stuff like that. So there seems to be more to this mission. Later on in the season, we're going to get like the updated version, which is very cool.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you can get random rolls on it, which is interesting. Some people were saying they don't like that because it's not like this curated weapon. It's not this curated feel. And I get that. It's not the same as like, this is the exotic we built for you. You know,
yeah, I get that. I know that people are like, no, I want to know what I'm getting every time I get that gun. But at the same time, it's not acquired in the same way. And I think that's where it lends itself to having these random rolls being something I can get behind, because you can go out there and target farm this thing and know, I'm going to do this mission. I'm going to get the drop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the mission, get the drop. You can't do that with, I mean, I could understand if it was a world drop and it was random rolled every time, because then it's a real feels bad. Like, how many times have you gotten a transversive steps to drop? Like, you can't target farm it.
Right.
The best thing you can do now is the legendary lost sectors, and still you're just crossing your fingers. So if you get a bad roll, you're like, you know what I'm saying? But this, I'm okay with random rolls on things like missions like this, because
no, you're wrong. You're wrong. What the?
Okay.
All right. Here's why.
It's 2 guns, and they said they're not doing. They said it's just like, we're just doing a couple.
That's a very important point. Is Bungie said we did the Hawk Moon, and we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna calm down. And I'm very happy about that, because I feel like, oh man, if it was like a random rolls every time, I'm gonna start to get annoyed, because I grind for my armor, I grind for my weapons, and I grind every season because they only last a year now. You're telling me I also have to grind for my exotics? It's just gonna get a little bit tedious, and I kind of enjoyed. You do the mission, you get the exotic, right? There's no like ifs, ands, or buts, and there's no getting the crappiest version. On top of that, it was bugged for myself and all my teammates. I don't know for you guys. I switched to different characters, and I did the missions for the first time on those other characters, and I got nothing. I did not get the exotic. I did not get a random rolled version.
Really?
So I only have one randomable version. I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's a bug on their end. But I mean, when that gets fixed, but here's the thing, Kackis, when that gets fixed, it's not a huge perk pool.
No,
I mean, to get the thing that you want doesn't mean you got to grind week after week after week. And honestly, I got the one I wanted on day one. And same thing with Hawk. Yeah, I got my Outlaw one on day one.
I got one. I want one with Vorpal for PvE though.
Well, and that's fine. How long is it really going to take you to get that? Though?
It's like I just don't want them to do this every time because I feel like
they said they're not.
They said a lot of things. They say a lot of things, TV. The only thing is I just don't want it to become like another thing where it almost seems like Bungie is farming you for playtime. And it's like, I you respect people's playtimes, let them go through and get this cracked new weapon, and then let them go and play with it. Right? Like that was always a fun part. I got the weapon, now I get to go use it in the Crucible and other stuff. I'm not just constantly spending all my time trying to get the perfect version of the weapon. That's again, I'm not that upset by it. I just hope this doesn't become like, I know they said they won't, but I really hope this is very kind of sparingly used for very specific weapons.
I also understand that they probably want people to interact with that content more. And they're trying to incentivize you to do so. They spend a lot of time working on a brand new mission with brand new aesthetic, its own vibe, its own mechanics. I mean, if it's just it's going to drop for you and you're going to get it and you're gone, I mean, how often are you really going to interact with that content? Probably not much. I mean, as cool as Whisper of the Worm was, once I got my Catalyst, I was gone. I mean, I didn't go back in there. I had no reason to.
But you had to play it for like 3 weeks straight to get enough like stuff to get your Catalyst. Like there was still intelligently
but then it was done.
Yeah, but other people are like helping people, and then people always know they can go in and get it. I don't know. You also, how much is too much? Because certainly when people play the same content too much, they start to resent it. You know? Oh, this map again. Are you serious? You know what I mean? So I think like having that, you're interacting with it for a few weeks to get it and then get the Catalyst or whatever, and then it's done. That's perfect. Because then you think back and you have nothing but good memories. But if you are that unfortunate soul who got the trash roll over and over and over again, and you had to like, spend 8 weeks trying to get one with Outlaw, you're not going to look back fondly, are you?
Fair.
I mean, if it takes you that long, but I just don't think the chances are that good.
I have someone who just played his 38th or 39th looted run of the raid, still hasn't got the rocket launcher. He is not looking at the Deepstone Crypt with fond memories. He hates it, right? And that's the problem with this stuff. Like you can only hold the carrot for so long, and eventually people will start to get a little annoyed with it.
Right, but he's not a real gamer. You know what I mean? Like we're real gamers. We can do it. We can do it 45 times.
I got mine. I'm a PvP guy.
Oh yeah, exactly, dude. I swear, dude.
Yeah, like just be a better gamer. Like literally, just get better luck. Like what are you doing?
Okay. Good.
Damn, dude. Good point.
But this mission kind of came out, and there's like a lot of hype. I mean, even me, I'm like, damn it! Like, did I miss out on a great season here? There's been a couple good things, but honestly, half the replies to my post are like, "Go play PvP, and your entire mood is gonna change." You know?
Yeah.
It's like the PvE side of it's got this nice little surprise, and then it's like, and here's trials. Here's no new maps. Here's no changes. Here's the balance. Like.
Man, like the Messenger this past weekend, which is, by the way, absolutely insane. Because they not only did they bring back the Messenger from D1, which was a cracked pulse rifle back in the day, they also brought back the Desperado perk from the Redrick's Claymore,
right?
Okay, and the Broadsword, which is a nutty perk, absolutely nutty perk. And they put Desperado on the Messenger in its loot pool, so you can get Outlaw Desperado, Rapid Hit Desperados, and
Killing Wind Desperado.
Killing Wind Desperado. I mean, there's some nutty perk combinations. So naturally, as a PvP player, I wanted to get it. So I went into trials. I played as much as I needed to play. I banged out several flawlesses, several cards. I was a little slow to get my Messenger.
Yeah, as soon as I left,
Desperado.
You played with me, couldn't get a kill. Suddenly I leave. Now you're slaying out. What is this?
Yeah, it's funny how that works. We were struggling to go flawless with Kackis, but I swap out some teammates.
Oh,
and we knocked him out. No mercy even used.
Crazy,
you know?
especially since I was on the top of the scoreboard. That was especially
a couple
crazy.
times. Yeah,
a couple dozen times, bro.
Okay.
But
yeah, we poked fun. But here's the thing: I would not have got into trials if that gun was not there. And once I got it, I was gone because it is trash.
It's not good?
Trash. People literally are just Trials is trash.
Oh.
People are just chucking. It's just people will not see you. They'll see a radar blip and they throw 2 withering blades. Just wing wing. And then you get explode, frozen, and then you're just like, well, I guess I'll die.
Revenant hunters are so terrified of shooting their gun, they will throw both melees at you, try to dodge next to you to get the slow, throw down the grenade, ice wall grenade, and then shatter dive. They'll use 5 to 6 abilities just to win a 1v1. And it's like, but that's just because of how fast your abilities recharge. That's every 1v1. It is actually crazy. But to add to your point, interestingly, TV, like it's crazy. Like that's all they need to do, huh? They add the messenger. Everyone's back in trials, right? Even people who don't play trials would jump off the map because there's the bounty to get a guaranteed messenger just for getting like 3 games done, right? So like that, adding a good loot with finally an actually good unique perk made people play the game. Same with Gambit. No one plays Gambit except for a few psychos, right? But they add the bottom dollar, which is an energy 120, which is very uncommon, and it has some cracked out rolls. Gambit's popping, baby. The Gambit's lighted up. The Drifter's never been happier, right?
Hell yeah, Guardians. We've got more players in Gambit than I've ever seen.
Gambit. Dude, and it's like, you see that, Bungie? That's all you needed to do was add some actually good weapons to some freaking playlists, and those players are finally seeing some play. And it's like, how in the heck was the Gambit loot pool not updated for over a year? Like literally just adding the bottom dollar, it's seeing play again. Like a lot of people are grinding Gambit. It's triple infamy right now. People were legit excited about it because they can get their bottom dollars. It's like
more drops.
It's like that's all they needed to do, and finally they're starting to do it. So, but hopefully they got the message there.
Here's my question though: is Messenger that much better? Is it that much cooler than the Cold Denial was? Like the Cold Denial is a very cracked, heavy pulse rifle.
Desperado, right? Desperado increases your fire rate. Remember when you get a kill? So it just to the moon.
But like, here's my thing: is like, who used Redrix? Redrix had that. No one used the gun. The same archetype.
Hold on. Redrix could only get Outlaw. This is a lot more customizable. So if my Killing Wind roll...
no mag.
And exactly, you can get a mag perk. The stats are better, so I can get like, ricochet rounds. And then, again, my Killing Wind roll. If I kill a guy, I'm getting a huge amount of more range too and better mobility. So if I have to account for the reload, all that stuff. So... this is better than the Redrix in a lot of places if you get the right roll.
So it's like when spare rations came out for 150s. It's just like it's a better version. It's just stronger.
But it's like it's crazy cracked out. It's mine 150. Yeah. So if you were to compare Redrix's Claymore broadsword to the Messenger, apples to apples, you can compare right there in game. Redrix's Claymore is all red bars. Everything is worse.
Right.
You get a decent Messenger, everything is better. You're all in the green, baby. Not only that, but the optics on the Claymore and the broadsword are terrible. That's sort of the drawback.
It's got the big hand.
You just can't see jack crap through that.
Yeah.
But the Messenger optic is very clean, very minimalistic. It's just a circle with the dot, and so it's so easy to use.
Right.
You get that thing spun up, and you can go in some.
And hopefully, this is the good news about sunsetting, because this thing is undoubtedly cracked. It's undoubtedly like the best pulse rifle in the game. Why would you use anything else realistically? But it's going to be cracked for a year, and by next winter, it's done. So by the time you get annoyed by it, hopefully it's gone. Mm-hmm. Or even you start to see people switch near the tail end of its lifespan just to prepare for it being gone. So again, finally, Bungie, like this is what you should have done from the start. But if we could get more things like that with these unique cracked rolls, and we can just let them be very powerful and the best in their class, but they're naturally get sorted out. So by the time you get sick of them, they're gone. again, this is how sunsetting is supposed to work. It's just like unfortunate that we're just now finally getting that cracked weapon that Bungie kept telling us about that they were going to do.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they need to make these strong weapons so people actually shoot their guns as well. So, like, you got to start having some cracked weapons so people actually pull the trigger again.
Exactly.
Instead of just shatter diving everywhere. Well, that's interesting for sure. Do you guys want to keep touching on Destiny, or do you want to move on to the Nintendo Direct end?
I think the one interesting thing I want to say quickly is like, and we were talking about it before the show, but like, here's the thing: this quest was great, but if you actually go on Google Trends and look up how Destiny is doing right now, the start of a brand new season, it's ranked at about a 41, 44 or something like that. And then if you look back in the middle of August, it was like a 42. So the middle of August, the only thing that's happening is what? Moments of triumph. That's it. Destiny's doing as good, if not better. A lot of those months it was better than right now with a brand new season just hitting.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at the launch of Season of Arrivals, it was nearly double what it is right now. And again, Season of Arrivals is just a season. It's not a big expansion. So literally, Beyond Light really dipped the player population, and I think it's still at the point where Bungie is going to need to take the L. They're going to need some egos are going to be hurt, but they're going to need to take the L and really reevaluate Stasis and really reevaluate PvP as a whole, because I think you lost a huge chunk of players with that. And although there's great things about Destiny right now, and that quest is kind of like, there's people on that Bungie team that can do those amazing things. And when you're playing it, you're like, geez, I feel like I'm back in Forsaken. This is exactly what I want to be doing. There really does need to be some dramatic overhauls to PvP. There just has to be.
I mean, think about Season of Arrivals too. It was like a public event. And then there was like a quest that felt the same. But it was essentially like a public event, and everyone was just cracked or excited about like the Cold Denial and the Fallen Guillotine. Like they cared about a few weapons, and like farming the Ikelos again and getting some Warmind stuff going. But
there
like
was some cracked stuff.
But it was like a public event, and it was more popular than a brand new season. There's got to be something wrong there, because this has Battlegrounds. Now they've added a secret mission, and maybe now that the secret mission is out, people are like, oh damn, I got to jump back in. Maybe you get a little bit of a spike here in the next few days, but if it doesn't, that's a little spooky for Bungie, and they're going to need to figure it out, because
especially,
is there going to be a secret quest next season?
The telling thing is that if you look at the trend, it's gone down below where it was before Beyond Light. Like Beyond Light is here, goes up for Beyond Light, and it dips down well below where Beyond Light. So the hype came and not only went, but you actually lost more players. Beyond Light is like a net negative for the game, which is insane.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of content. If you're just a PvE player, you're probably like fine with Beyond Light. But again, like, someone's gonna have to take the L. We're back to the same double primaries. Someone at Bungie is gonna have to say, I was wrong. I take the L. Let's fix this crap. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got you. Now, speaking of taking the L, Nintendo Direct today had some pretty like insane viewership overall. In some cases, maybe even broke some records. They said there was like 3 million people watching. That's huge. And unanimously, they all cried out in disappointment as it kept going. There were some hype things in there. There's actually a couple. There was like the Project Triangle. I don't know if you guys saw that one. It was like Octopath Traveler Tactics.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you played Octopath Traveler, but I'm like a big Final Fantasy guy. And I really enjoyed Octopath Traveler. And then they revealed that they're doing almost like a Final Fantasy Tactics, but in that world. And I was like, damn, that looks amazing. I messaged my brother, and I was really excited about that one. But it's probably one of those games that like 2% of the population that enjoys games is going to like it's not going to be a big blockbuster. It's very, very niche. I was like foaming at the mouth, but like probably everyone else is like, what is this trash? Like turn-based tactics? Not for me. But there's not a lot on there that was that hyped. Like even chat started kind of devolving into like, where's Breath of the Wild 2? Where are these big games, Metroid? Right? Where's Metroid? No new Mario game, no new Metroid. And like Metroid,
Mario Golf.
it's been a long time.
Calm down.
Yeah,
what, sorry?
and I like Mario Golf.
Okay, a new Mario Golf game.
I like Mario Golf.
Yeah, it's like
Their bangers are not there.
Mario Golf is what you buy if you go and they're all out of what you actually wanted.
Come on, man!
I came here with my allowance. I need to come home with.
And it's like, you have fun, but like, you're like, all right.
Well, and like of all the Mario sports games, like if you compare Mario Tennis to Mario Golf, like golf, you're setting up your shot. Tennis, you're smashing it back and forth. Like I can see the appeal of the tennis. Even the soccer one back in the day was like kind of lit, but none of the big staples here. And you know, that's the thing. You go.
I was gonna say another thing that people were like, we want Breath of the Wild to bring back our Zelda, and then they're like, here's Skyward Sword, and like, not that one.
Yeah, like no, that's the Walmart version. We don't want that one. You know, it's crazy. We've talked about Nintendo kind of being in the dark ages. Like, obviously, their PR is like pretty brutal, but they just upgraded, apparently, their networks. So, where is Mario Party Online? Where is Mario Kart with some good servers? When are they going to start embracing that side of it? Because we've seen Fall Guys, we've seen Among Us, we've seen that these kind of party games can pop off. When is the next Mario Party with online capabilities, 8-player lobbies, freaking voice chat? When are they going to do that and innovate? Because right now, I don't think jumping up and hitting a box and doing a couple mini games from your couch, I don't think it's doing it anymore. You know what I mean?
Literally imagine Mario Party, full online capabilities, proper like, you know, custom lobbies, private lobbies, matchmaking, all that stuff on PC, on Steam. Among Us would be dead in a day. Fall Guys would be even deader. It would just be like, it is the king of party games. Well, you get your friends together.
Unless you want to get demonetized because they sue you for playing their
game. That's the point. But like, that it'll never happen. Like they're obviously never going to launch it on PC. They're obviously going to launch it on their console. And you know, they don't even know what online services are, dude. Like the online head of Nintendo is like one guy in a basement somewhere, and it's just he's just doing the best he can.
But he doesn't even get internet. Like they don't even give him internet. So he's like, I don't even know what that is.
He has to crank the dial up himself. It's like a hand done generator. Like that's literally, Nintendo is so behind the times, and they're able to basically stake everything on the fact that they just make these super solid games. But it's like, how much more solid could these games be with proper online support, right?
Yeah.
Or if you weren't viciously going after content creators trying to make videos on and promote your games, imagine how successful they'd be. So it's just kind of they're in a weird position. Like that's the thing, right? They, not every E3, for example, does a company announce their absolute bangers, right? You got to announce some side projects, you got to announce some other stuff.
Right.
But that's the thing about Nintendo. If they're not releasing their absolute bangers, like new Pokemon game, new Mario game, it's like they're huge IPs. People just don't care because like they're not willing to play a lot of these side games because they don't have proper online support and all this stuff, right? So it's like, if you're not playing the absolute kings of Nintendo's IP, why do you care?
Well, and it's like we're coming out with Sploons 3, and it's like, on your servers after you just shut down. Like, here's the thing: is like any
and they're gonna have a
$25
sponsorship,
right?
Or $25 tournament, and then not even give out the $25,
right? But it's like, any person that would play any type of shooter would typically be pretty competitive or have some sort of competitive drive. Like, I can't imagine there's a lot of people that play a shooter game and they don't want to win and they don't want to do well. And it's like, you're playing on these terrible servers, absolutely terrible servers. There's no potential for esports because they'll do a $25 tournament and not pay you. There's no like...
That's a real story, by the way, viewers.
Yeah.
Nintendo hosted a $25 Splatoon tournament. That's the best they could do. It was an official Splatoon tournament. Nintendo only had $25 to spare, and they didn't even pay the winners.
Yeah, and it was a gift card.
It was a $25 gift card. $25. It's the best I can give you.
Yeah, in online currency to Nintendo Live or whatever it is. It's like literally hosting. It would be like as if Bungie hosted a big Destiny 2 tournament and gave away $25 worth of silver and then didn't even pay the winners. That is what that's akin
we're
to.
gonna give you Bright Dust instead.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know how big Splatoon is. Like, I've got to go look at the Google Trends, but I can't imagine even at the peak, Splatoon is anywhere near. I mean, Yoshi's Island, like any of these sub games probably dominate Splatoon. Like, I'm talking Plants vs. Zombies probably beats Splatoon. I can't imagine Splatoon being that big. And they're making a third game. And, like even Mario Maker type stuff. Like Mario Maker would be better received. The Metroid would be better received. Any Mario Kart, Mario Party, like there's so many. Make a new Mario Tennis, it'll do better. Luigi's Mansion will do better, in my opinion. And it's just like
they're too busy copywriting every single like sound in Mario Kart and going after people on YouTube. That's their entire department is just like going after people trying to like make a buck selling a cool design
for charity.
for charity.
Yeah.
On what's it called? That's the island game where you fish all day. What is that called?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. That's the thing.
Island
like you can't make money on Animal Crossing. Like if you design something cool and you want to sell it for like 10 cents, Nintendo's like, no.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo, piss off.
And, it's crazy, though, because they have such a brand image that when there is Mario Odyssey and when there is Breath of the Wild, like, everyone's going to play it. Everyone's going to play it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just don't do themselves that many favors. They don't really build the hype. And, like, honestly,
disconnected.
They do. And it's like they milk Super Smash Bros. Like, they're always coming out with new characters like, you won't believe who's coming to Smash next. And it's like, honestly, I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't really care about that new character. I can't imagine the player base of Smash is that insane. Maybe it is. Maybe they're getting that return on investment.
But like, God,
I don't know.
You can only do it for so long, man.
They're like, we brought an anime girl. She's coming. And Mike's over here like, I got a whole squad of anime girls.
Yeah, like, look at all these. I don't need any more.
Come over here, Mona.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
And they're full size. They're zoomed in. I got body pillows and everything now. So.
Can I say a side story? It's so funny. Every time I'm like scrolling down Reddit and I see something from the Genshin Impact subreddit, it's like I drew a fan art marked not safe for work, and I'm like,
oh, I know.
Every time
I can't even go on the Reddit because the whole thing is just like hentai. It's like, whoa. My wife comes in and
favorite game.
I'm like
into the game.
I'm doing research on the game, babe. Like, yo.
Just looking for a character for my thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't search up. Yeah, Mona.
Honestly, I've been staying up late on that subreddit. But do you want to know how I get all the energy to do that?
Oh, nice,
Tell me.
dude.
It's our sponsor, Advanced GG. Now, Advanced has a Focus line, which is a beautiful premium product, and they've come out with a whole bunch of delicious flavors. But they've also come out with a bunch of new energy formula, which is a caffeine-based product. It's a little bit cheaper, but they've got strawberry, shortcake, cotton candy. Anything you could ever want on your taste buds is in the shop. So go to advanced.gg and use code RGH at checkout for 10% off. Thank you so much for sponsoring us, and let's get back into content.
You did something wrong.
I did this week?
Hold on. You did something wrong, Mtashed.
What?
You never say cheaper. People don't like the word cheap. You say less expensive. That's something
marketing 101.
Negative connotation. Listen,
you're right.
What you gotta say is that you got the Focus, which
cost effective.
It's got the best ingredients out there, actually effective ingredients it's got vitamins, it's got the new level, which is clinically proven. Then of course you have the more cost effective one. If you don't need that new level, you're not going to go play in a tournament, you still want an energy boost and the vitamins, you get the energy. That is the cost effective.
You're right. Okay, so just to try to understand, so like good YouTuber, cost-effective YouTuber over there. I'm pointing over at Kackis if you guys can't see at home.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna chat about Sony getting sued, and we've got I don't know, first responder True Vanguard. This is hitting close to home.
Part of the class action lawsuit, essentially. We've got True Vanguard.
So here's the thing. It's funny how this all played out because this past week, I was playing on my PS5, and I'm playing on Apex Legends, okay? And I get into this firefight. We're in the top 3 teams last 3 teams on the map. We get into a firefight. I mean, it's all on the line now because all 3 teams are converging. And suddenly my character just starts doing stuff that I'm not telling him to do. And I'm like, crap, I can't reload, I can't shoot. And he's just walking in random places. And I actually had to like kill my controller, which is like to manually shut it down. You gotta hold the button down for 20 seconds, power it back up. By the time I did all that, I was dead. We lost the match. This has now happened 3 times. It happened once in Trials, twice in Apex Legends, all since last Friday.
So that's why you did worse than me in Trials.
And so, for the record, I didn't do worse than you in Trials.
Kidding.
We can go look on those.
All right. You got one screenshot.
But anyways, I thought that was like an isolated incident until on my feed on Twitter, I see IGN is reporting that there's a class action lawsuit because people have deemed the DualSense controller defective due to drift, where they describe the exact situation I'm talking about, where suddenly your characters are doing things that you're not inputting commands for. And the only way to recalibrate it is to hard kill the controller and reboot it. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's a major issue, and it's not just me. Now, I had not heard about it up until the point where I was experiencing it and then saw this class action lawsuit. Apparently it's a big deal, and these DualSense controllers are, as it turns out, kind of defective over time.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here wondering, do I need to spend the money to get a new controller, another DualSense to replace
should you even get another DualSense?
Or
should
have
the same thing?
Maybe I'm just going to go back to the DualShock. I don't know, which is a shame because the controller is actually a great controller aside from that.
Can you use your PS5 controller, or sorry, PS4 controller on it?
Yeah, you can plug a DualShock in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Well,
I mean, at least you have that.
Some aftermarket options too.
Right.
Yeah, but what you described is like, that's such a good point of like, yeah, I'm in the middle of an Apex game, or I'm in Trials. These are like high
do or die
scenarios. It's like I can't have my controller breaking in the middle of that. So if you lose out on your flawless game because of that, like that's not good.
So that's a lot of time investment.
Well, it's a lot of time investment, but especially like there's a lot more serious things. You could be losing out in actual money if you're doing like tournaments. There's side tournaments for especially like Warzone, all these things where you can sign up and you can win real money. And if you're using that controller and it's like malfunctioning on you, that's super messed.
Yeah. And maybe they can fix it with like a firmware update. Like maybe you won't have to get a new one, and maybe they can get it under wraps. But I feel like the DualSense, there's a lot of tech in it. Like it's got like the variable rumble and like
haptic
you can
feedback and all that stuff.
Yeah, the trigger changes and everything. Like there's a lot of cool stuff there. I'm wondering, is there a malfunction in some of that?
So
like they have the gyroscope in it too, don't they? So there's like a lot of things that could go wrong there. I feel like cool tech, but
it's also frustrating though because Sony doesn't like to play ball with a lot of the third-party controller makers. I know, like the Astro C40. A lot of people really like that controller, and they said, "Hey, can we use it on the PS5?" And Sony's like, "Nope." So the Astro C40s are like, so it's like, listen, Sony, you can't do that and then not even have your own controller work. Like if your controller is malfunctioning and I'm losing games because of it, you can't also say no one else gets to make third-party products on our platform. Like you don't get to do that. That's ridiculous.
Well, and it's almost like a monopoly on the controllers. And it's like, well, if you're going to do that, then you better have the best damn controller, right? You can't be half-assing it and just like
how do these not have paddles yet? Like what year is it? Everyone wants paddles. Like I don't understand how Sony cannot put in paddles or buttons underneath. Like it's literally the people want them so bad. It's funding an entire, like section of gaming with these third-party controllers just to get more customizable options, and mostly just to get paddles. And I just like it blows my mind how they wouldn't realize that. I mean, Xbox did, and they have the Xbox Elite controller, which has like 2 sets of paddles and a fantastic controller.
Yeah.
Like
people spend like $200 on a controller just to get those paddles. Like it's nuts. Yeah. Like double, almost triple the price. So, especially once you got to ship it.
So crazy. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like Sony was worse than Xbox in basically everything except for they actually had games to play on it, and that was the only thing. And it's like winning the console war again. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's like, what does the PlayStation do better. The menu is so annoying. It is like they put your friends list and your party list and like basically everything into one menu. I hate it so much. And the controller doesn't even work. And they're so annoying to work with these other companies that make great products. It's just like, but they're still top dog because they just get those banger exclusive games. But that's good for them, obviously, for doing that.
That honestly like would moves us into the next topic really, really nicely though. Like, is there a big game drought right now? Like, we didn't see a lot of the exclusives coming from Xbox. Some of them got delayed a year, but like even PlayStation, it feels like there's nothing out there right now. And I've seen a lot of content creators, like I saw Courage, he made a big post the other day saying, there are no good content games for me to make right now. Like, I can't make videos on most of the games. I'm not having fun with anything. I need something new. And until that happens, like, I'm just going to mess around with whatever, can keep my attention. But I've been feeling that way. Genshin's slowing down. You guys are saying, like, Destiny's kind of, hit and miss. And, but what's the alternative? Like, go back to Fortnite? I mean, honestly, Ryan's been playing Apex, and that game seems like it's kind of bumping right now. But
it's Apex resurgence for sure, yeah.
I don't know. There's just not a lot out there that's really exciting. I don't see anyone being really creative with content and like diving into it. Like when Fortnite happened, everyone was making videos, everyone was sharing clips. There's like this hype factor around it. But it seems like,
and it lasted. It wasn't like a one and done 2 weeks and then everyone moved on. Like a lot of these.
Yeah, and then like even with Fall Guys, you can see the hype of like people posting clips. With Among Us, people are posting these clips, but it's just like gaming as a whole is just kind of dead. Everyone is literally just at their house complaining about other stuff. And like it is what it is. We've had some political stuff going on. Like obviously there's like election, and now like there's some crazy stuff going on in Texas. People are frozen in their homes. Like I understand that not everyone's going to talk about gaming all the time, but it seems like I go through my feed and no one has anything new to say. Nothing exciting to say about gaming. There's no new game on the horizon. I don't know.
Nothing really came out this year. Like there's Beyond Light, but obviously that's just a continuation of Destiny 2. It's been here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We had a new Call of Duty that was really subpar, and Warzone is popping, but Warzone's been around for a very long time, and also that whole integration was handled really poorly, and that really like. Quick example, when they added the Cold War guns into Warzone, the attachments, what they described is like, this barrel will make you aim down sights faster. It would literally do the opposite in game. Like they're completely labeled wrong. And so all these content creators like, we don't even know what to do. We don't even know what any of these things. This is so dumb, dude. So like so that was handled super poorly, but really it's like Call of Duty is really the only game kind of popping off. Fortnite is still doing fine, but it's a very old game. Like we didn't really have any massive launches this year. Hey, we kind of missed out on that. Whereas like next year, it could be like new God of War. There's like a potentially new Star Wars game. Like there is going to be a new Call of Duty. There's going to be a lot more stuff kind of popping. There was a few things for, I guess, like there was the new Spider-Man game and stuff, and even Dark Souls, like. That's not a new game. It was a remaster.
Right. And even like the new Spider-Man, it was cool and there's new missions and stuff, but like it's essentially the same game. So if you play the first one, if you love Spider-Man, like go for it. But it's not like it was like game-changing, brand new game. Do you know what I mean?
There was no like banger new game. Like remember when like Overwatch came out and it was like, and everyone's freaking out and stuff. Nothing like that happened this year.
Mm-hmm. And we like they recently talked about the new Final Fantasy Online. There's an expansion coming. Everyone, like a bunch of people, were really hyped about that, but that's not until September. It's not like it's happening right now. But a lot of these big things that people are getting hyped about, they're continuations. There's no Diablo 4. There's no Call of Duty or Call of Duty competitor. There's no new Destiny type game other than Outriders potentially, but we don't even know if it's gonna be good. Anthem might be canceled. I mean, what?
We're still waiting to hear on
right?
Anthem.
We don't know if that's gonna happen or not. And it just seems like there's nothing going on. And there must be like what?
Well, there's just really wasn't a lot of brand new things. Whereas again, if you look at the horizon for like 2021 and look at how that's stacking up, one example is you mentioned there's no Call of Duty competitor. 2021. Battlefield 6, right? EA confirmed it's coming out 2021. They've got like DICE LA, DICE Sweden. Everyone's working on this project because 5 flopped so hard. So
I hope they knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
and that'll be like the huge kind of like game. And again, that's competing with also a new Call of Duty that's launching at that time. And then like Overwatch 2, what happened to that? Like that would be another absolute banger if that came out.
That's
and then,
2022.
Okay,
right?
2022. Yeah. So
That's what they said for Overwatch 2.
So
Yeah.
one thing that is on my radar a little bit is that New World MMO. Have you guys seen that?
Heard a little bit about it.
Did
Yeah.
you play
So-
the beta or alpha?
I didn't, but I watch people, and one of the people I really like to watch his stuff because he does lots of like MMOs and stuff. Is Force Gaming or Force Strategy? Have you guys?
Yeah.
He's got like
We shared some of the stuff.
yeah. I think he makes some pretty awesome videos, and he was posting about it, and so when it first came out, that beta happened, he was like, it's good. There's some combat issues, yada yada yada, and then they posted this new update showing, hey, we're taking a little bit more time to finish. It was supposed to be kind of this spring, but we're thinking more into August. They're adding some new features. They're improving on the combat. They're improving on crafting. It seems like they're making some pretty big updates. Now, I don't know if the improvements that they're making fix the problems that were mentioned in some of the videos that I've seen, but the game looks beautiful. Like, it looks really good. And if they can nail some of those end game things in crafting, I mean, is it going to be time for a new MMO to take off? Is it time for people to mass join it the way they did with Warcraft back in the day? I don't know. Are people tired of them? I feel like it's been so long since there's been a good MMO that I'd be willing to jump in. Have
you played any Elder Scrolls Online?
I never did. And I've got this weird.
Yeah, same.
I've got this
They've
weird.
just gotten better and better and better, and they continue to drop new
I know.
content that's apparently bangers. Like the community just loves it.
Same with the Final Fantasy. I played some of it at the beginning. I have like this weird mental block of joining MMOs late or like
Right.
after.
Same.
And it's like,
Yeah, I get that.
there's just so much. I don't want to catch up. No one's going to want to raid with me. And I'm sure, obviously, I can find people because I'm a content creator. But I've got this weird thing where it's like, I want to be the best. I want to be the guy doing the raids on the day one. I don't want to be like, can everyone teach me how to do it?
Show me how to do this.
I don't know.
But that's a real thing, dude. I mean, I tried to play Genshin, and I was like 2 weeks too late. And with how the leveling system was, especially back then, apparently they've done some improvements. There's just no chance. Like
Right.
I'm never catching up, especially because I'm so limited.
It's more on
And,
it's on how many days you played, not how good you are at the
like
game.
you kind of want that exciting new launch instead of jumping into a game midway through its lifespan, like a new like Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is gonna launch, and everyone's gonna start at the same time, and everyone's just gonna go crazy. It's gonna be a banger, right?
Yeah.
That's what I really want to look forward to.
Yep. And there's a couple other ones that are pretty interesting. There's Blue Protocol, which looks like an MMO Genshin Impact style. And so that's one that I've got my eye on because it's kind of like, well, damn, those audiences would directly correlate. And I'm sure it'd be good,
Well,
but that might not be
soon.
till 2022 as well now. They were thinking 2021, but
There is Outriders, dude. Very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon is the demo for
I'm
Outriders.
ready
that,
for it, man.
I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. The only thing is that it is just a demo. And so we're probably going to absolutely play the crap out of it for like a few days and then kind of be done with it, which is fine for a demo. It's like, but then you got to wait until April for, it to actually come out.
yeah,
Was it what a week and a half out from the demo?
like a
Something
week.
like that.
I think it's on the
25th.
25th. So pretty much like 8 days, 5 days or 7 days. So we'll see about that. And I mean, the tough thing.
One week and 1 day. It comes out next Thursday.
Okay, beautiful. The
I'm
tough
there.
thing
Yeah,
is
I'm there
like
too.
every looter shooter, you don't know if it's going to be good until you get
The end game.
so invested in it. And it's like, God, I just spent 60 hours getting all my skills up and getting this stuff unlocked. And then it's like,
Yeah.
now it sucks.
But
I
then
mean,
what happens?
unless
once you get to
it's
that point-
Godfall and it
What?
dies in a day.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What happens is inevitably you get to that point where you realize, man, I think I did just waste all this time. But this other game came out last week while I was busy doing this, and it's popping off, and now I'm way behind everybody else that started that one.
Yeah.
So that's happened a couple
I
times. this
literally
year.
I missed the Genshin grind because I was playing Division 2 because I got into it again. Or
Yeah.
which, speaking of, we talked
Yeah.
about games just like continuing. Division 2, kind of out of nowhere, essentially like, man, Division 2 came out with a statement saying we are going to continue supporting this game, they said that there is going to be new content sometime in 2021. Now that is ambiguous as heck. Is it a new entire expansion? Is it a couple new guns? Is it some new cosmetics? Like, who the heck knows? It sounds like there's going to be like actually, something that's going to affect gameplay. Maybe akin to they added the new like summit thing where you're in this floor of an elevator and going all the way up to like the 100th floor. You grind your way up.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a whole new expansion, but maybe something like that could get added. Here's the interesting part though. Like, why do people care? Like, that's kind of a thing. Like, if you're not following the Division, you're like, okay, they're gonna make content. Like, why wouldn't they? But the Division team, massive, the main guys behind it, have kind of been taken away from the Division 2. They're going to make this Star Wars game, it was announced. So I think this other developer, Red Storm, correct me if I'm wrong, is coming in, and they're kind of now left with Division. And so there was this huge question of like, what's going to happen with the Division 2?
Right.
Is it just going to die? Like, are they done with it?
How many people are working on it? And like,
yeah, apparently it is still, a game that's going to be getting supported, which is, I mean, it's kind of, I think it's a decent game. I got into it a few different times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And especially with kind of like a new development team in charge. Are they going to like be like, finally, we get to decide what's going on. Yeah. Let's go wild. And because the really interesting thing I don't think a lot of people know about is the same thing happened with Division 1. The main guys left to make Division 2. And I think then Red Storm was in charge of it. What Red Storm did was they introduced the classified gear sets, and Division 1 kind of had a renaissance in the last part of its lifespan and really popped off. And if I'm remembering correctly, that was Red Storm. That was like, they were left in charge of that because the massive guys went to make Division 2. Right. So is it almost going to be better? Because when Red Storm's in charge, the game's banging. So it could actually be an interesting thing.
Here's the thing though, is like, I feel like it's happened both times with the Division. Is like, it starts out, people are hyped, and then it like tanks, and then they're like, oh, we brought out this amazing stuff. But it's almost too late. Like, the first raid that came out, the game was already dipping pretty hard. Like, I felt like a lot of people were dipping off with the Division. And then, that raid came out, and arguably, it was a pretty good raid. It was tough. I know it was really tough. Some of the mechanics on console were, like, punishingly hard. But, like, it was a pretty good raid. But at that point, people were salty. A lot of people had left. And then they're working on another raid, right? And they did this Gangs of New York thing. It did not have a resurgence the way Forsaken did, right? Look at Destiny 2, and then it tanked, and then Forsaken comes out, and it's like, damn, popping off again. Division never did that. Division doesn't get 2,000 viewers, on Twitch, and even with the new update, it's like no one is watching that game. No one really cares about it, and it's almost a shame because they do
dedicated community though.
Yeah, it
really does. It's still going through seasons.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised if you're looking up builds and stuff. It's like, not great views, but solid views. There's still a dedicated fan base to this game for sure.
It's interesting because, it's true. Because some games really aren't about watchability. Some games, there's no one watching, but there's a ton of people playing.
Division is so boring to watch, but it's kind of fun to play. Like, who are you going to watch some guy look at the stats? Oh, my AK-47 does 0.8% more headshot damage. This is an improvement over my previous AK-47.
Right.
Like, you're not going to watch that, bro. But when you're playing it, you get that 0.8% more. You're like, I just hit harder now, baby.
Well, and in the first one, at least they had the Dark Zone, and that was popping. Like, when I would do a Dark Zone stream with my Vector back in the first game, people were like, how? Like, you are melting everybody. I would take on 1v4 and stuff, and they're like, this is insane. Like, I don't even understand. But in Division 2, I spent like 2 minutes in the Dark Zone because it was empty. I would be running around, shooting my gun like, someone... Please! I'd carry loot on me, hoping to like maybe bait some people out. No one was in there. And so I feel like one of the most watchable things of the Division, it doesn't exist. It is such a PvE focused game. And how long are you going to watch someone just, rail into an enemy?
Sponges with more damage.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. That's the same issue with Genshin. Because when the game first came out, everyone's like, who are these new characters? What do they do? People are getting them at different times. There's this crazy, hype for all this new content, and there's a new Spiral Abyss. But after a while, it's like, how long can you watch someone smash a level 80 Hilichurl and one bang it with D-Luke? Like, it gets to the point where there's nothing impressive about the game anymore. There's nothing interesting or new about the game. And you're just watching like the same easy enemies all the time. And I feel like there's a lot of games that just, they don't translate to the views. After
And
that first, couple weeks, month kind of thing.
We need a new banger.
Well, I will say also, like, Patty Cakes made a good point, and in playing the Division myself, it's like they would nerf the best builds all the time. So you'd put like ridiculous hours into fine tuning a good build, and then they would just nerf it. And it's like, okay. And that just killed so many people's vibes in Division.
Right.
And then also like the P416 assault rifle was like probably 30% better than most guns in the game. Like, it's like you can use one of the scout rifle type weapons, but they're not optimal. You can do damage, but it's not going to compete.
But you should.
Right? And it's like the SMGs, maybe if they're right on top of you, but for the most part, why wouldn't you just use it?
That InWag or whatever, like the Israeli machine gun, when it came out with Warlords, like there was that LMG. Just did, like, it was like faster shooting and more damage, and that was meta for the longest time. So everyone went out and got it, and then they nerfed it. It's like there's always like some top gun that just like DPS wise is cracked. It's at a
like Destiny
pretty good,
Pinnacles.
Yeah, it's at a pretty good state now. Honestly, there's like unique weapons, and the season's not bad, and the summit's decent, and so it does have that dedicated fan base. I was like wondering, like, what the heck is going to happen with this game? Because our developers just yeeted to work on Star Wars, right? Same thing happened to the Game of Thrones fans when the writers yeeted to work on their stupid Star Wars trilogy that then they got fired from because they're so incompetent they couldn't put together a proper final season of Game of Thrones.
Is this after hours ranting? Because it's hold on, I got a question. I got a question quick. Do you think that Division 2 is less popular than Borderlands 3 right now? I don't know the answer. Do you think they're about the same, or do you think Borderlands is more dedicated?
I'm
Google Trends it
right now
because part of me is thinking like,
I'm doing it.
All right, I want to know. I want to know the answer because part of me thinks that Borderlands fans are like addicted, but I can't remember if we talked about this off stream or during stream. But like people that cover Borderlands are going back to the second game to make content. Like they're going back and farming the same bosses, and they're like, "Oh, I got a 94 shim."
It's freaking close.
Yeah,
they're close.
They are very close. Overall, like, so Division 2 was much higher. The Division 2 capped out at like 100 when it launched, and then Borderlands 3 only capped out at 82. So Borderlands 3, at the height of its popularity, was less popular than Division 2. Division 2 obviously went like straight down after, but that's what always happens after a game releases.
Right.
And Borderlands has the jumps
from the DLCs.
Because of the seasons. Division doesn't. I think it has one mump. It doesn't even have a jump. It has a mump over in September when Warlords came out. So yeah, like you said, Warlords really didn't bring that many people back. But it actually is at one of its highest in forever, January 31st to February 6th. I think that's when a new season launched. Or it could have been that Operation Raccoon stuff where they had like, you could get skins for what's the Raccoon City Resident Evil. You could get like Resident Evil skins. And Division, like, right, and that was more popular. That was 27, Borderlands 3 at a 16, and now I think Borderlands 3, right now, literally this week, Borderlands 3 26, Division 2 23. So they're neck and neck.
Right.
So Borderlands 3, Division 2, very similar size fan bases right now.
That's actually surprising. I
would have thought Borderlands. I thought so too, but we're always right about Borderlands 3.
It's not hard to be right about Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
most people are right about Borderlands 3.
Yeah. That's pretty much it though for the main topics of the episode. We're an hour in already to this episode. I would say right now we'd go into members only mode, but it has been bugged the entire stream. We don't know why.
There's always something.
Yeah, there's something. If you guys
really are sorry about that, Joel.
Yeah, I've tried to turn it off every 5 minutes and I just can't do it. If you guys have anything you wanted to say in the members only chat, you've got any questions, we'll answer a couple questions here. We'll take,
or
5-10 minutes. Yeah, Do it.
Tweet at the RGH account.
Or you can just bribe and try to send a message to one of our members, like get them to ask your question. I don't know. Or you can become a member, support the channel. Like we keep saying we're getting new emotes, but we are getting new emotes, right, TV?
Yeah, I already paid the emote. She's sent me a couple of things just to clarify, but yeah, it's happening.
Okay, good.
Hell yeah, dude.
They're taking time because they're gonna be bangers, I hope.
Well, yeah, and art is slow. I tell you what, my throat is so dry. I'm just gonna get a splash of water real quick.
Okay.
Don't you have
tweet at RGH account, guys.
Don't you have liquids right next to you?
Not those ones don't count.
Yeah, those actually don't help with hydration. I'm surprised he's drinking water.
Are you guys investing in the stonk market? I have stonks. I have a lot of cash right now though because I'm thinking about an investment in a rental property. But I don't know. I'll tell you why. Like realistically, time in the market beats time in the market. If you just put your money in and just constantly invest, if you have a long horizon of time, 20, 30 years, you're going to make money. Like if it tanks 20% tomorrow, but you went in today, if you just hold it for 20 years, you're going to make money. 30 years, you're going to make a bunch of money. But the reason I'm a little weary of going too much more is I was watching that Stephen Graham guy. We were kind of talking about that earlier. And he's a young guy. He's like 30 years old and multi-millionaire. This guy makes absolutely bank. And he has $2.7 million in cash right now that he's holding. But he was doing kind of like a little podcast with Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary has liquidated 45% of his assets and he's in cash. So, you know, I don't know how rich Kevin O'Leary is. Couple $100 million. He has 45% of his income or of his net worth in cash. That is bizarre. So
what do cash.
What does Kevin O'Leary know? Like he knows some people. So if he's going 45% in cash, that's a weird thing to me. I don't know if something's coming. And he said, I want to see what happens in the next 36 months. Maybe he just wants to jump on a deal. Maybe he loses out. Maybe he's so rich it doesn't matter. But like that, it's a little spooky.
I mean, how has the economy not tanked with the pandemic? It doesn't make a sense. It's propped up by a bailout, and it's just like the top companies that are still even afloat. So
what are we talking about?
Very weird.
Just someone was asking if we're invested in the stock market.
I invested in. I bought just a little bit, not a ton, but I bought a little bit of GameStop, and it's since gone down. I'm holding, baby, because I don't care. That money, I'll let it burn.
You're just
it's not a ton. It's enough though that if I can spend a little bit of money, and Melvin Capital can lose money,
right?
I'll
regulate these nuts.
Yeah. No. You bought Bitcoin really high.
No, yeah, and it went higher.
Up. I know. So did you sell
Bitcoin at its highest when it was like January 6th or whatever, whenever the world was on fire, and it's gone down. And I invested one more time when it much lower, and now Tesla was like, we're gonna invest $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Boom, baby.
Right. So are you gonna hold, or are you just gonna? Is there a number, and you're like, then I'm just gonna take the money?
It's not that much money. The thing is, like, you should never invest what you can't lose. If I lost every single dollar I invested in Bitcoin, I'd be fine, right? So if I did withdraw, I'd maybe make a couple thousand, but that's about it, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, maybe to me, it's like I don't need that extra money, so I might as well just hold it in case someone else comes in and it goes even higher. And then at that point, then it could, be a really valuable thing. But to me, it's like I kind of bought it as like a long-term investment just to have that little bit of diversification.
Right.
But paid off, baby. Woo! Tesla, thank you.
Do you invest much, Ryan?
Me?
Yeah.
Not a lot. We go through a guy. That's the short answer. I know too little and have too little time.
Yeah.
So I have somebody that I trust.
And that's the good thing about like something like Bitcoin. It's like it's just one thing. It's not like there's like so many stocks and you gotta be tracking them all. No. It's just like one thing, and then honestly, cool.
Honestly, like if you just take some money and put in like ETF type stuff, like instantly diversified, get some dividend stuff. I love the investing world, but it takes a lot of time, and it's like okay, if I spend all day watching these tickers and making some decisions, maybe I make a couple bucks. But did I just not make a video today because I was doing stock stuff? It's like I probably would outpace it in a lot of cases.
Here's the plan. Go in deep, look at what's going on in the very, stuff that's not that high upvoted, but kind of upvoted on Wall Street Bets. What's the next big GameStop? Get in while it's cheap.
Yeah.
Millionaire, baby.
Yeah. And then you're out.
Millionaire.
So
we got a couple of questions on Twitter.
Yep. Okay. Let's hit it up.
One's a quick one from Crit Buff. He says, how did TV turn me into a sidearm main? Sidearms are fun, baby. I upload a lot of content about sidearms with sidearm gameplay. I think people sleep on that playstyle because they think close range, I want a shotgun. Felwinter's lies it right now. But it's so much more dynamic and rewarding playstyle because you have to be so much more creative with your movement. So when you get the hang of it, it's just so much more fun than the simple point and click playstyles.
The unfortunate, or just to carry on to that, because you converted me for a while, and I had a really good Anonymous Autumn. I don't remember, but kind of before sunsetting, I was really using that and liking that a lot. And I've used sidearms too. The thing is, though, like you said, you really got to kind of adjust your playstyle a little bit, and there will be times where you outsmart the guy with a shotgun, but it doesn't matter because his shotgun is the Felwinter's Lie, and the Felwinter's Lie negates a lot of sidearms. Like you have to have the absolute best of the best sidearms,
and you got to be on point. You got to be on point all the time.
You can't miss. You miss, you're done.
What is the sidearm? Like, what is the sidearm? Breach light?
You got a few options right now. So Traveler's Chosen is just insanely good.
Exotic one.
Insanely good. Mm-hmm. Rat King with a Catalyst does a lot of good things for you. It's just
butt wipe absolutely slaps with that stupid Rat King, and he keeps going invisible and then doing stuff to people. It's just like it's just wild.
Just cheese.
They dropped a new one called the Keening, which is really good. The Keening is really good. They got a new one called the Brass Attacks, which can roll some pretty cool combos like Rampage and Killing Wind, so you can chain kills really easily. Really cool stuff. Yeah, really cool stuff. There's another interesting question. I don't know how deep we go into this is up to you guys, but one Sloop Dog asks, will cancel culture in the gaming community be discussed in any future episodes? Because it appears to be a resonating topic of late. And you're absolutely right. It definitely is a hot topic of late. There's a lot of times where you just get on Twitter in the morning. You're like, oh no, another person is being canceled.
Wow, we put you in charge of picking questions, and you picked the most controversial ones. Like, what is going on here? Next question. It's like next question is going to be like, what country is the best and what country sucks? Like TV. I'm just kidding. But no, the problem with cancel culture is like, it's just such a wide spectrum and everything's different. Like you do have people that are like unfairly targeted and canceled, maybe over stuff that isn't that big a deal. Or if you look at it, it's like, okay, you made a mistake back in high school. Should someone be, you have that. At the same time, you have people legitimately doing terrible things that should be canceled. And then you have, in those cases, where you would see and be like, wow, this is absolutely terrible. There's people rushing to defend it, to be like, oh, this is cancel culture. It's like, no, dude, this person probably did deserve to get fired or whatever. So it just like runs the gambit, and every case is so different. And unfortunately,
like one size fits all.
Not too many people look into stuff. Like people will hear like one account or one explanation and be like, that's what it is. Like I think there was a study where it pertained to Reddit, where it was like 90-something% of people will read the headline and not actually read in the article. So they just get what can be transferred to them in one sentence, and they're like, well, that's the way it is now.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
My thing is like, some of it is like, I saw one a while ago. It's probably almost over a month, but it was someone going after a designer, and like I looked at a bunch of the messages because I was just like morbid curiosity, and I was looking at it, and it's like there was like definitely some disagreements, but it's like, and I get like the designer didn't get it done when you're supposed to, yada yada, but like it wasn't something that's like you're a criminal. Like I'm gonna bring down your designing business because we had disagreement. And it's like, I've had sponsorships where things went a little weird, but I'm not going to like try to end them over it. It's like, yeah, you know what? That was a bad business engagement. But I feel like now on some of them, they're just like, well, now I got to make a post. And it's like, weird. Because I wouldn't have made it for the same thing. But, you know, Anyways, it's as you said. There's lots of layers. There's tons of layers, and is what.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. Sometimes you see someone, you're like, this person for sure should get canceled. This
like,
person's crazy.
The guy on that just got banned off Twitch the other day. You saw that
for like
saying he was gonna like hurt his son. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, let's cancel that guy for sure. Like 100%. Right. But even then there's gonna be people who are like, have you never had a day where you were just really upset at your kids? It's like,
come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
I wanted to read a question quick from Patty. He was like, what do you guys think of YouTube Shorts? Is that something you're paying attention to on your channels? Have you guys touched YouTube Shorts? Do you even know what it is?
Apparently, yeah, I know what they are, and apparently they're popping off. It's just because YouTube has a whole section of its websites where it now recommends you these shorts, right? And to me, the stuff it recommends to me is just like really short, like 30-second clips, and it's usually just like it's dumb stuff. Like for me, it's like because I play a lot of like Call of Duty firearm stuff. It's either gaming clips, like, oh, sick kill, or it's like firearms related clips where it's like full auto, and it's just like a guy shooting a gun full auto in the military, and it ends. It's like 10 seconds, and it's like 6 million views. You're like, geez, right? But it's just like, if you saw it, you're like, it's 6 seconds of my time for this super quick clip, or a gaming clip where it's like 1v4 Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it, the guy gets a 1v4, the clip ends. So it really is like YouTube's just trying to get onto the TikTok market of these very short clips. And the reason they're doing so well is because it has its own designated part where it's like shorts, and it recommends you shorts, and they're here, right? And there's not that many people making shorts. And I think the unfortunate thing is I've seen a lot of people like say like, holy crap, my channel is like basically dying. Like no one watches my channel. I made a clip and my clip got 1 million views. Clips or shorts are the way to go. And it's like, okay, but you can't monetize them. So those views are like for nothing. You may have gained some subscribers, but as soon as more people start making these clips, and I also can't imagine like seeing this random out of place clip would motivate people to subscribe. Whereas if you saw a full video, you're much more motivated to like, oh, I just watched, this guy played Warzone the entire game and popped off 20 minutes of my time. Heck yeah, I'm going to subscribe. Whereas like if you watch a clip, you're done with the clip and on to the next one before you can even realize that you should subscribe.
I feel like that's the thing. It's like you are just going to scroll and you're just doing it. It's you'd have to be on there consistently doing well to build any sort of audience, and like maybe to supplement things or like as a fun thing here and there, but I'm not taking time out of my main content to do that. And if anything, if I'm making shorts, I would just make a TikTok. Like if I'm going to do it at all, I would just make a TikTok. And
and it's just like, again, YouTube's just pushing it because it's like just more watch time on the channel.
Right.
And I just don't know how in the long term, if it's like a good investment, especially since like, so if I upload a short, won't that take away from a subscriber notification? For those who don't know, when you put something out on YouTube, it will notify a certain amount of subscribers, but it will have diminishing returns. So if I put a video out and then I put another video out an hour later, that one an hour later will go to less people. So it's like, when am I going to put out these shorts? Like a day where I'm not uploading content? Maybe. I don't know. It's just kind of for me, I'm just grinding content. It's all I know. I just, anything different scares me.
No diversity.
No
Destiny or death.
Yeah, Destiny or death. That's basically it. Yeah, which is not working out well so far.
Ooh. I've heard that the little community posts though do pretty good, but again, is that taking up?
I think it does.
Is that taking up an alert? Like it's just YouTube is a weird thing, and the algorithm is so important, but it's so fickle, and it's
so fickle. Just like selects a video. It's like, hey, this video you made, it's gonna pop off. And then you put like way more effort into another video, you think it's gonna pop off, and YouTube's like, no, it's dead. Bro.
This thing is trash.
And then it'll like bless people for certain times in the algorithm. Like Forsaken, it was like anything Rick Kackis makes in Forsaken, we're gonna recommend to literally everyone. Like I popped off there. And then certain other people, like maybe it's their time to shine in the algorithm, and then that'll come, and then that'll kind of go, and then there's always new people. And so it's just very hard to stay like consistent.
Yeah. For sure. But I mean, that's also even just the games. I love talking about this stuff though. Like I love all the
I hate it.
The business
I hate
side of it
so much.
It's anxiety-inducing.
I won't even like look at my analytics because I just hate it. Because it's just like it feels so out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
It's like the algorithm's gonna bless it or it's gonna hate it. And at the beginning, it was like important to look at what people liked, what people don't. But now it's just like my success is tied to Destiny's success right now if I'm covering it. So it's like it's out of my hands.
But also, like, you've been making content long enough that it's like, what is someone going to comment that's going to change anything? Like, once the video's
the
out,
comment section on the studio, you can't even reply to them directly. It literally, whoever at YouTube made that should be fired immediately. Where it says like comments, is these comments. I see something and it's like you can't even click at them and reply to people. You have to like go
to the
your,
video,
like, videos, go to individual, scroll down through like thousands of comments and find this guy to be like, it's in the video. Keep watching, dumbass. Like that's all.
Right.
That's all I just say. So like, oh man.
Yeah. And
yeah, you
and
would stress me out. Tash would like send me all these analytics and stuff, and I was like, I can't even look at this, bro. It's so stressful. I get this away from
I know. He snapped on me one day. He's like, listen. He's like, I'm gonna say this one time. This really stressing me out. Please stop. And I was like, oh. Like, sorry. He's just like, he's like, listen. He's like, please stop. Like, I cannot handle this anymore. I don't want to talk about this. I was like, oh, like, I'm sorry. Like, I apologize.
He'd be like, hey, these are my like views in the last 24 hours, and like these are yours for a video that like tanked. Like, you'd be like, that's crazy. And I'm like, can you stop?
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
I need to know about this, dude?
I did not. I was asking like general stuff about like, hey, like, doesn't it seem like it's low? I would never compare my numbers to your numbers because we always know that mine are popping. I don't know.
In Genshin, dude, you're gonna get to 1 million before me, dude. I'm at like 996,000. You're gonna get there before me.
I've grinded to a halt now. It's slowed down, but it's funny. I feel like Genshin is gonna die relatively fast, even with updates. A lot of the updates that they bring, it's like a 2-week season. So like there's a little boss rush thing that they did. It's gone. There's a new thing going on right now that's tower defense. It's really cool. It's gone in a couple days. And it's like,
I think though that when they add that huge section of the map, it'll pop back.
Maybe, but here's my issue is if they don't add some sort of end game, the same problem's going to happen. Now you're going to explore a new region. There's going to be some chests to find. And every enemy you walk up to, you're just one banging everything. It's like, well, so I don't know. And they can add new characters to the game, but it just, I honestly feel like, and you guys kind of said too, the first couple days, it's like, ooh, piece of candy, there's a chest, there's a quest, there's so much stuff to do. And then you get to AR 35 and it's like, uh-oh, running out of quests. And then it's like, well, let's go search around the map for all the chests. And then you're like, uh-oh, now there's no chest to find either. And it becomes this very monotonous game very quickly. Like within a week or two of consistently playing that game, you beat it. Yeah. And I think that the future of that kind of content, like gacha game content, really is, it's got to be Raid Shadow Legends, you know? They drop that Doom Tower, you know, and you got all these characters. You can make different teams and do challenge modes. That's the thing I said the other day, too, is I was like, guys, I'm not trying to shill here. But if I log into Genshin and I tried as fast as I could to get all my daily stuff done that would progress my account and matter, I can do it in like 7 to 8 minutes. I can beat it that fast depending on the domain. I can smash every resin for the entire game or for the entire day in like 7 to 8 minutes. And if I play Raid and I got the arena matches and there's the tag team matches, there's the Doom Tower and your energy, like you could probably play for 2 to 3 hours easily and not be done. And so it's like Genshin needs to get some more meaningful things to do in the game because it's your resin in 15 minutes and then it's done. Like in Destiny, you can play PvP, you can do some different raids, you can just sit in tower and chat, I suppose, but I don't know. I can't see Genshin lasting with this amount of hype. I feel like it's been pretty good right now, but if things don't change fast, the tank is going to start.
Yeah.
So
some random person called Cheyenne, never heard of her. Don't want to hear about her. But she asked, when is the RGH merch coming in? Right, we can't even get emotes. It takes us 3 months to get emotes. Now we're supposed to get merch?
I feel like our logo's kind of cool.
We can't even figure out how to get chat working. and we're supposed to be getting merch here. Hey, come on. The short story, eventually, we're definitely gonna have some merch, but we're obviously, it's one of those things where we want the experience for you guys to be as good as possible. That's why we're investing in stuff like the emotes and whatnot. And then once we finally get the technical issues sorted out, then we can do that other stuff.
And honestly, like, we just really do this because it's fun. We get to hang out with each other and talk and meet and chat about some different stuff. We're not hyper focused on monetizing things.
We might have a sponsor though.
What?
Well, I'm not gonna say who it is.
Leak it after. Leak it later.
No, I'll leak it after. Yeah. But we're just waiting on some product to come in, and it's something that I think you guys have worked with in the past. But again, we can't say who it is yet because it's not 100% locked down. But we're in the big leagues now.
Oh,
we're gonna make enough money that Tash can get at least a week's worth of buttery noodles.
Perfect. Is this the Adam and Eve one we were talking about?
No, that's.
Oh, just kidding. Or are we? Or are we? Because
I mean, Adam and Eve, hit us up. Anyways, what else? Oh my gosh, you members never ask questions, man. They just egg us on with weird stuff.
Did you make an outro for the stream yet? TV keeps getting cut off. We're gonna just have to do the outro and then just stare for a second and then turn it off.
I was getting memed so hard because on my last video I posted on YouTube, I literally did it to myself.
Oh
the end of my video is literally me going, be well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you. And then it's over. I don't even do in the crucible. I don't know. It was a mistake. I don't know what happened. But everyone's like, "Oh, Mike even did it to him on his own channel."
Just shutting him up as fast as I can.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't help the I interrupt you meme because it was like I'm KackisHD and you're like and it's gone. You don't even get to say
shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, we could try right now if you want.
Are we sponsored by Gucci? Listen,
if Flaviar, that'd be a good one.
If Gucci or Versace ever wants to sponsor me at any point, I will be decked. I will shill so hard, dude. But there's no way. Could you imagine going to hi, is this Gucci? Well, I got a Destiny channel that's dying. You guys need to send me tens of thousands of dollars of clothes, and then, I don't think the conversion's gonna be that good. What am I gonna do? Subscribers?
I'm making one sale.
My subscribers are here. What's Gucci? They click. How much are these? Oh my god! No, dude.
I can't pay $10 for the Destiny season pass.
Dude, people complain about how much what's it called? Advanced GG is. They've never seen a Versace roll, dude. Yeah, a whole tub. It's so small. It's because the scoops are small.
There's 40 servings in it, so divide that price by 40. And
people
you're vibing.
People buy the G Fuel stuff. It's this big, and the scoops you have to double hand the scoops. It's
you have to literally take essentials out of your pantry so that you can fit that thing in there.
It comes with the emergency marine shovel where you dig trenches, and that's what you're supposed to use to scoop G Fuel. That's how much you need in that serving. That's why it's big.
That's why it's so chalky too. Ah.
I miss what TV's sipping on tonight. Tonight, Russell's Reserve was glass number 1, single barrel rye.
Now, does that one taste like whiskey? Barrel.
I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to chat. And then glass number 2. I'm still working on my 15-year whistle pig.
I remember that being a lot more full last week.
Oh yeah, it was.
It's crazy how beverages deplete over time, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's nuts, man.
But last week,
I gotta be honest. Sometimes I look at my whiskey bottles and I realize the level's gone down, and it pisses me off. I just get so mad
because you're so blackout. You don't even remember. You're like, when did this happen?
Yeah. He's just playing Aplex. That wasn't, you know what? That whole story about his stick drift, that didn't actually happen. He's so drunk, he's just pushing his thumbsticks one way, doesn't even realize. He's like,
what the hell, bro?
He's not reloading. His controller's upside down. He's like, well, I don't know what's going on. What happened to big goddamn?
You want to know how I knew the messenger with Desperados cracked?
Because he actually got
the first time I used it was 1 a.m. after my third whiskey, and I had a 42 bomb with a
seeing double
with a we ran, and the whole time I was just like,
hell yeah.
well, this gun must be good because I'm not right now.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's good. Imagine if while he was describing all that, I just ended the episode. And just
He's like,
well, today, what I cut out. I can do it. One time we're gonna start an episode, be like, hey everyone, we're jumping into a new episode, and then as soon as he starts talking the first time, end. Just hard stop.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, that's gonna be it for this episode of RGH, the Real Gamer Hour podcast.
Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. So if you're not here on next Wednesday, then you ain't Bay. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. No, good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
I'm sure Vanguard.
All right, now chill. Now we win.
Okay. Is it good now?
Thanks for
Good.
stopping